Your printed document that you're about to generate can look very different from the content you view online from your project created in RoboHelp, and that's all determined by style mapping. So that is actually the fourth step here that we've accessed, the last step in saving and generating our printed document. So if you've jumped to this lesson, just open up the How to Use LDC Print project, double-click Printed Documentation, click the Next button right to the last step here, where you'll see the default setting, which is at the top to use styles from the style sheet. What style sheet is that? Whatever's selected down below. Notice the Apply CSS to All Topics is defaulted to none using the project's CSS styles. But you can click this drop down and choose your own, like the howtouse.css that we've been working with in our project. That way, your printed document is going to look exactly like it does on screen when viewing it online. But there is another option, and that is to use styles from a Microsoft Word template if you prefer. Selecting that option takes a moment, and now you can actually get into mapping different styles. So for example, if we scroll down the list here and select hyperlinks, you can see what a hyperlink looks like over here in our project versus what it will look like in Microsoft Word. So that's under the character preview. If we go to paragraph or description, you can see all of that information as well about any individual style. With character, it's a little bit easier to view the preview. Now notice that normal in our RoboHelp uses the normal style based in our CSS. When we look over to the right, normal in Microsoft Word does look a little bit different. And that's fine, but we can click the drop down and choose something different, like normal web or plain text. And now we're changing the mapping to create a totally different look. Every one of these styles has its own drop down. So for example, breadcrumbs, which are useful in online, are not so useful over here in Microsoft Word. So we might want to just click the drop down and choose something that is not going to stand out quite as much. So let's just scroll down our list and go down to normal. There we go. So keep in mind that any of the styles that you're using in your project can be mapped to a Microsoft Word template, and then you can make changes to that mapping as well for each individual style. Once you have everything set up the way you want it to look, you're ready to actually click Save and Generate, which is going to take a moment to go through all of your topics in your TOC, your index, your glossary, anything that's going to be included in the printed documentation, and it's going to generate the document in the location you specified in the general properties. Now, depending on the size of your project, the number of topics, the type of content, this could take a few minutes to several minutes to generate, but eventually you'll see this screen that allows you to view the result. Of course, you'll need Microsoft Word if you're generating a Word document. When you click View Result, it's going to take a moment and it's going to launch Microsoft Word, and it's going to display your document in Microsoft Word where you have full access to it now, so you can use your Word expertise to add the final touches to this printed document. So there's our title page, which was created by default. Then we get into our table of contents, and as we scroll through the various pages here, we get into our first actual topic under Getting Started. You'll see the images right there inside. We decided to embed. Notice the formatting. And what we have in front of us now is an actual document that we can send to our printer. So in the next lesson, we'll just talk quickly about some of the printer properties you'll want to consider when printing your document, and that will complete the project.